Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Exodus Media Network. Mike over here doing this because he wanted me to ring his damn bell. That's the freedom bell given to me by Matt Bevin. Y'all see the title up there. The title is The Year in Review, but Moving Forward, okay? So we're going to cover a lot of things that we covered throughout the year, bro. throughout the year. Look at Mike. See, Mike over here, he acting silly. So listen, we're going to cover a lot of things. Here's the deal. Y'all think y'all done made it through this year okay because the sky hasn't collapsed and caved in on you and the mountains haven't crumbled to the ground. So everybody thinks they think it's okay.
Oh yeah.
You see, they're not deterred by the fact that the Democrats stole an election because by this point in time they're being convinced that it didn't even happen, that it wasn't stolen. They're not deterred by the fact that a guy like Biden that never ever in his 50-year career had more than 2% support from the Democrat Party all of a sudden got 81 million votes. They don't find that alarming. They think that's that could have happened. That's how they think. And when you're simple-minded and blinded, you think like that.
Right.
Okay, because remember we're dealing with surface dwellers. Don't worry about that because I hear you just fine. We're dealing with surface dwellers. Okay. And the problem with surface dwellers is they are the individuals working without any information. The extent of their information is what they hear from CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, and so on and so forth, and their college professors. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff that's now, figuratively speaking, in the rearview mirror, but not necessarily at all in the rearview mirror because even though it happened in the past, it's very relevant moving forward. And we're going to see a lot of things from the past 3 years repeat itself
Right.
because it's all leading somewhere. This is all a part of their dystopian agenda, and somewhere they're trying to take us somewhere. But I'm going to talk. I'm going to jump around. But so let me just start here. I'm very disturbed today. And I want to say this, and I want to look right here, and I want to say this. Michael DeWine, the current governor of the state of Ohio, he's a fraud. He's a coward. He's not a man. He's not even a mouse. He tries to portray this image as though he's this kind of like Mike Pence, where they want to project this image as though they are a very stern, no nonsense kind of guys. They want to portray this image as though they're biblically sound and they don't want to offend people, but they want to be right on point. They try to project that image. And here's my problem with Mike DeWine, and I'm gonna look at this again. Mike DeWine, I I have to be honest with you. You ain't shit. Mike DeWine, you are a living, breathing piece of shit. And the state of Ohio and the fine citizens of Ohio are stuck with you. And we really had no alternative but to vote for you because unfortunately the rhinos are running things. Okay, the rhino Republicans. So Mike DeWine was the leading candidate on the Republican side of the ledger, and most of us Republicans and conservatives we said, well, we have to support Mike DeWine because he's a Republican, and we all know that the Democrat alternative is far worse than him. But I'm at the point to where moving forward, I don't even want to vote, and it's not even moving forward. I've been this guy all along. I've argued with other Republicans. Let's not vote for a makeshift Republican. Let's not vote for a rhino Republican because the alternative is a Democrat, a Luciferian Democrat. I believe, Mike, the only way evangelicals, Republicans, conservatives, Christians, the only way they're going to come to their senses is we got to let these Democrats just take this thing all the way to hell. Okay? Take it all the way to hell so that then they'll have no choice but to bounce back.
Right.
Then they'll have no choice but to step up. and step out. You see what I'm saying? Because some people, they need absolute tragedy before they'll begin to react and respond to what's happening. We just have to hope that it's not too late. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm an advocate for, let's let these Democrats win certain elections rather than vote for a rhino. Because if we keep allowing rhinos to win and rhinos keep governing and reacting, no, you're there, trust me, so forget about it. It's coming through here. If they keep doing this and reacting, so the problem is the mic, the problem is these on you. So, because I hear you loud and clear. Here's the deal. You made me lose my thought. Here's the deal. Republicans have to understand that we can't continue to support fake Republicans, rhino Republicans. And I have to say fake Republicans because everybody doesn't know what a rhino Republican is that might be tuning in.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, a rhino Republican means Republican in name only, meaning they're not legitimate, meaning they are like Michael DeWine, the current governor of Ohio. And I'm going in on this individual because he decided to veto the bill that was passed in our state legislature, which said that male and female kids under the age of 18 could not get sex changes. So the bill was passed. Republicans passed the bill. And it said in the state of Ohio, you cannot give a sex change to a minor. The other component of the bill was that boys that identified as girls could not participate in girls' sports.
Right.
All DeWine had to do was sign the bill. Done deal. Then females, women, girls would have that protection.
Right.
Likewise, young kids that have these minds that aren't developed, a kid can come to you and tell you that they believe they're a male or a female. But here's the deal. Don't we have a law in this state called statutory rape?
Yeah.
And even if a minor consents to having sex with an adult, the adult still gets charged with rape, right?
Right.
That's statutory rape, right?
Right.
How can we be so hypocritical and then turn around and say that this minor can say, I'm a boy when they're a girl, or I'm a girl when they're a boy? And yet this is a form of statutory rape.
Right.
This is statutory pedophilia.
Right.
This is statutory genital mutilation,
right.
Not gender affirmation.
Right.
This is gender mutilation.
Right.
So how is it that we have the statutory law as it pertains to sex between adults and children, but we can't have a statutory law that says you cannot change the sex of this minor? Why is it that we will listen to minors say, hey, I'm a boy, I'm a girl in a boy's body, but we won't listen to a minor if a minor chooses at the age of 16 or 14 to go sleep with a grown man? You want to know why? Because their minds are not developed.
Right.
So you have to apply that same principle when this kid is over here talking about, I'm a girl in a boy's body. No, you're not.
Right.
Because your mind isn't properly developed. You don't even know any better than what you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
So we'll listen to him in that instance. And Mike DeWine has just given validity to the sodomite community. Listen, the sodomite community wanted nothing more to take this adult thing, this adult perversion, and sprinkle it down into minors,
right.
18 and under.
Right.
They've successfully done that. And Mike DeWine had the opportunity, listen here, Mike, to protect these impressionable minds that they don't even know what they're thinking and feeling. It's hormones. They're feeling all kinds of ways. Right. And the only reason why they're feeling like this is because these adults are so strongly suggested right. to the kids and on social media and everywhere that you might be this.
Right.
You should try this. Right. This is a good alternative. Alternative lifestyle this, alternative lifestyle that. Well, if you keep showing a kid something and constantly suggesting something to them, eventually they're going to take notice and then they're going to want to look into that thing. That's the only reason why you have these kids running out here claiming to be something, saying they think they feel some kind of way, and I feel as though I'm a female in a man's body. That's only happening because the adults have been so adamant about talking about it, about introducing it to minors and so on and so forth. And now people that we used to think that me and you would even know, we know people that we thought were level-headed adults, decent adults. I'm going to say this right here, right now. You could be my relative. You could be my friend. You could be my so-called friend. You could be my associate. You could be a complete freaking stranger. If you believe that a child should have the ability to have their sex changed, you a piece of shit monkey demon. And I don't want nothing to do with you. Michael DeWine is a devil. He's a Luciferian. Any so-called man, he's not a man. Mrs. DeWine, you have to be weak because you let this animal that you call husband go out here and condone these kids having their penises taken off and their breasts removed. And then repeatedly lied to and told that they are this when they're not that biologically. Right. So see, I'm going to take it there. It's not Mike DeWine by himself. His wife, they're one. Right. They've been joined together. Right. You didn't have the wherewithal, Mrs. DeWine standing by his side. You're just as complicit as him. Nobody else will tell you that. Right. You're both monkeys. Then they said, oh, no, Alan, you can't say that. Damn you, Mr. I want to be neutral. I want to stand here and no, Alan, no, you can't go. You can't cross. Screw you if you're going to tell me I can't cross that line. And I'm going to tell you the type of people that tell me I can't cross that line. It'll be fellow Republicans and conservatives. He's gone too far. Fuck you. You ain't gone far enough, Mike. No, I'm pissed, man. Right. Why is it that I can get up here and display this emotion and this anger, which is legitimate, and people will tell me, you got to calm down. You can't say that. But he can get up there and say that these kids can get their nuts and their titties cut off. But I drop an F-bomb. No, fuck you, Michael DeWine, and the horse you and your wife rode in on. You're both nasty because you suggesting to me through your actions and by you not signing this bill that you're a pedophile. You monkey. Because only a pedophile would condone this type of activity and sign off on it. Right. And when you refuse to sign this, you dirty, nasty dog, and you ain't a Democrat. I mean, a Republican. You a Democrat. I'm tired of you people coming up here claiming you're a Republican, having an R next to your name, but you govern like a Democrat. Then you're a Democrat. So you don't get to, I don't live in the fantasy world. I'm from Realville. You don't get to say you're this when your actions say you're that. Right. DeWine. Right. I really hope to God that this, when your political career is over, the day you walk out of the governor's mansion, don't you run for a damn thing. It won't work. It won't happen. I'll personally lead a war against you. You're a coward. You're a capitulator. You're a monkey. You're a Luciferian. Michael DeWine, let me tell you what you just proved to all of us. You're nothing more than white trash. That's what you are. And you good white folk, you good upstanding Christian white folk, you should be mad at this white trash called Michael DeWine that is currently the governor of the state of Ohio, in the same way that I'm mad at these niggers that's out here in all these black communities across the country, murdering and killing and stealing and ruining it for all the rest of us and giving all the rest of us a bad name. Y'all should be mad because he giving white folk a bad name. going out here signing off on genital mutilation and this sodomite culture. Mike DeWine, you a monkey, you a dog, you a dirty, nasty, you a devil dog. I can't even get it. I don't even have the words to say what I feel about you, you nasty, demonic devil dog. But this is what happens, Mike. Guys like Michael DeWine, they make it to the governor's mansion when you got a milquetoast Republican Party and all these Republican county chairmen. Listen now, we got I think it's 88 counties we got in Ohio. And each 88 counties has a Republican Party chairman and a Democrat Party chairman, okay, that oversee it. And then there's a state chairman. And I told you how weak and milquetoast and how much of a rhino he is, Alex T, okay? Right. When Mike DeWine, listen to me, Mike, listen to me, you people out here, especially in Ohio, but this is in all states. When Mike DeWine vetoed that bill, I didn't hear the so-called leader of the Republican Party in Ohio, the chairman, Alex Triantafilo, who's a fucking lawyer down here downtown Cincinnati. I didn't hear that motherfucker raise his voice and say nothing about how detrimental that is to Ohio kids and to girls that want to participate in high school sports getting fucked up by these grown-ass males with nuts hanging in between their legs, claiming to be girls, but bashing their damn little female heads in. I'm sick of this shit. Yeah, Alan's out of control. His anger, like you're fucking right, is out of control. And something should get you out of control. And the state has been remarkably silent. I haven't heard no county chairman say nothing. I haven't heard none of these good upstanding so-called sheriffs. Listen, we got a lot of sheriffs around Ohio. Each county has a sheriff that's elected. And I hear these sheriffs from time to time speak out about things that don't necessarily seem like it's something they should be. It's not law enforcement related, okay? Well, this is one time there's something that's not law enforcement related. They should have spoken out. What about the state central? We have a state central committee. You have a Republican Party state central committee. You have a Democrat Party state central committee. You haven't heard one word out of anybody in the Republican Party state central committee towards this devil, nasty, dirty dog, Mike DeWine, for vetoing this bill because they're cowards. And here's why they're cowards. Rather than speak out against him and risk losing your seat, they'll remain silent. So that means that the lives of these children are less important than your little position, your little seat. And you're going to return home tonight. You're sitting at home tonight. If you come across this and you have kids and grandkids, and I'm going to tell you, you don't give a shit about them, you monkey. Because if you did, you would have spoke out. You would have said, hold on, Mike DeWine, you don't went too damn far. They're cowards. Nobody can say that. Where are the men or women that'll step up and say that? They don't exist. They don't exist. You're animals. You're stinking animals. Every last one of you are stinking animals. And now I'm going to move on to this, and they get butthurt. Alex T, you're not the chairman of anything. You're just a blowhard wearing a suit and a tie, occasionally pontificating, but always navigating and doing something that's going to solidify your position and your political future. You'll never take any fucking risk because you're a fucking coward and a capitulator. Because if you wasn't a coward and you wasn't a capitulator, you would have called a press conference on the fucking Capitol up in Columbus, right? And you would have said, you would have called Mike DeWine everything but the child of God. But you don't care about the kids. You don't care about the children. And I'm sick of all of you sons of bitches running around talking about who you care about and this and that. But when it comes time to do something about who you care about, you're silent. I don't like none of you. You fucking animals. Fucking animals. I'm going to take a coffee break for just a second. You animals, you monkeys, you devil dogs, you demons, you Luciferians. I don't like you. I don't like them, Mike. I'm going to tell you what else I don't like. We're going to move on to another governor. We've had 10 million people come across that southern border, and they primarily coming through Texas. And the governor of Texas is Greg Abbott. And Greg Abbott, you another son of a bitch talking about you're Republican. talking about you a conservative. And now here, after 10 million sons of bitches, dirty dogs done come across that southern border, and you now want to talk about putting the sheriffs and putting the state troopers and all these sons of bitches down on the border and giving them certain powers. You dirty, raggedy motherfucker, you should have did that day one.
Right.
When Biden took office, because he said what he was going to do.
Right.
You wait till 10 million people later. You know what that means to me, Mike? It means you're a coward. It means you're a capitulator. And you make me think you was in on this shit, you punk. Because what are you getting out of it? Because ain't no way in hell I'm going to be sitting here. Texas, a border state. I can look over here and see the damn border. And I know they're coming. 10 million sons of bitches coming. And I knew they was coming before they came because I had a heads up because Biden told you what he was going to do.
Right.
And you knew because we had drones and helicopters and planes flying down there and you saw the herds of people like the zombie apocalypse walking 10, 15,000 strong.
Right.
Coming one direction, north.
Right.
You son of a bitch, Greg Abbott. And Greg Abbott, you want me to put the brakes on you, don't you? I ain't gonna put no brakes on. I'm ripping the brakes off and I'm gonna put my damn foot on the gas and I'm gonna mash that son of a bitch to the floorboard and we coming for you because you a muck. Don't run for nothing else.
But the bathroom.
That's it. Don't run for another damn thing. You ain't shit. Even if now, this late in the game, you want to put citizens down there and arm them, and you want to put the Texas Rangers and the state troopers and the all your police agencies, it's too late, you stupid bitch. The only reason why he wants to put them down there now, because this is called political expediency. See, he wants to save his career.
Right.
See, people got short memories. You can't now put all these people down here and say, I'm going to stop this surge of people, when if I turn around and look back, I see the backs of 10 million sons of bitches already across the border heading north.
Right.
It's too late, you dirty monkey. You dirty devil dog. You and Mike DeWine ain't shit. You and Mike DeWine are rhinos. You're animals. You're nasty freaking monkeys. You and Mike DeWine should be swinging from branch to branch. You're monkeys. You're a monkey.
Ain't this election year?
Well, Mike, every year's election year, to be honest. Well, I don't know. I have to check. I think the governorship is up. I have to look and see when, but for both states, Texas and Ohio. But the problem is the Sean Hannitys of the world, the Craig and Bucks of the world, the Glenn Becks of the world, they're not going to say this. And if they heard me say this, they would find refuge by saying, well, he's off the rails. Listen, you know, this is how these punks act. He's off the rails. Well, you can't do it that way. You have to be diplomatic. You can't say certain things. You got to not. But the enemy is out here being flagrant. The rhinos out here being flagrant. And each time we get punched in the face, we come up with an excuse as to why not to punch somebody back in the fucking face. Well, at that rate, you're going to get knocked out. You're going to get killed.
Right.
If you're just going to keep getting punched in the face and not punched back in the face, but you're going to make excuses about why you shouldn't punch him back in the face, game over. You're toast. Right. And that's where these so-called Republicans and conservatives and evangelicals currently find themselves. Listen, they're getting punched in the face by the rhinos, by their own party. And not that the rhinos are really in their party, which we talked about that. And they come up with every excuse on why not to fight back. Well, you do realize if you don't fight back, you ain't gonna never win. Unless you stand there waiting on a meteor to fall out of the sky and crush your enemy. What's the odds of that? You see what I'm saying? Right. We're standing around waiting on a meteor to just come out of the sky and land on top of the wicked witch. Right. And all our issues are resolved. Right. That's a lie, because even if that happened, you're still gonna have problems because internally, right. you're discombobulated. Right. Man, this stuff is getting so freaking crazy. Now I'm gonna say something. Donald Trump is leading candidate now. Donald Trump, I'm gonna say something to you. I'm going to say something to you, Donald Trump. I swear, I hope on everything that this finds your ears. I hope everything I've said and everybody's name that I've mentioned, that it finds their ears, their friends' ears, their wives' ears, their children's ears, their grandchildren's ears, everybody around you, 100 people deep.
Right.
I hope it finds you listening to Donald Trump. There's a lot of political rumors out here. And I heard a political rumor today that you were strongly considering having Vivek Ramaswamy from Cincinnati, Ohio, of Indian descent, as your running mate, as your vice president. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy is currently in the Republican Party primary running for president. And I just heard a political rumor. It could be true, it could be a rumor, that you, sir, were considering having Vivek Ramaswamy as your running mate. Now, I know you're a busy guy, but I'm going to tell you, you're not busy enough to go back and listen to the things I've said about Vivek Ramaswamy and why he has no business being that close to the White House. Right. He has no business being second in line, et cetera, et cetera. And so we're going to address this again. Vivek Ramaswamy is a Hindu. The United States of America is a Judeo-Christian Catholic constitutional republic. A Hindu and a Judeo-Christian, that doesn't mix.
Right.
That's called being unequally yoked.
Right. He
doesn't just worship a false god, he worships false gods. Right. The Hindus have 330 million gods. And they've taken the time to assign particular traits and characteristics and attributes to each of these 330 million gods. They wasted a lot of time doing nothing. Right. Okay? Now here's the issue. Right there, it already tells you that doesn't work.
Right.
If you don't think for 1 minute that this Vivek Ramaswamy and the whole Indian contingency that he's going to bring with him, if you don't think they are now, listen, they already think very highly of themselves, the Indians that come here.
Right.
They look down on us to a large degree. So they look at America and they think that they can infuse their culture and their ideas into America and reimagine, reshape America, and change America for the better.
Right.
They don't look at immigration from the point of view of we're going to go over here and we're going to mesh with them and not try to bring all of these bad ways and ideas from our inferior culture. They don't look at themselves like that at all. They think we've gone this far, but they can take us even further because they think so highly of themselves.
Right.
I don't know how you Hindus can think so highly of yourselves when you have 330 million gods.
Right.
But I'm going to talk about two of the gods in particular. And this should shut all that nonsense down. One of the gods, I'm going to talk about three of them. One of the gods his name is Ganesha. Okay? That's the one you see with the human body and the elephant head and face.
Right.
Mike, can't no motherfucking elephant be my God.
Right.
Mike, can't no elephant be my God. That's stupid. That's like a kid's cartoon.
Right.
You know how you look at these kids' cartoons and you see the animals with the human characteristics walking on two legs? Y'all done lost your mind calling that a God. And you want to be the vice president and then eventually the president of the United States.
Right.
Trump, you want to select that? Because if you select Vivek Ramaswamy, Donald John Trump, you selecting that monkey-faced guy that walks around on two legs.
Right.
And that elephant-faced guy that walks around on two legs. They even got a damn god that's a damn vampire. His name is, I think it's Yama. Yeah. Now, we done gone all this time throughout history, prior to America, and then here in America. And all this time, you've had Judeo-Christian culture, always present, always with us, right?
Right.
And then we're built on the idea of being a Judeo-Christian culture. Now people are so about inclusion and all that bullshit. They want to bring everybody in and include everybody. Well, when you include all these people that look different
Right.
and that talk different,
Right.
what Americans don't know, because you don't think, you're like kids. Ooh, it's shiny. Ooh, it's different. I like it. I want to, I like it. Mike, these people with these different tongues and dialects and cultures and ways, they got their own set of ideas and their own culture and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to show up and then act as though they don't want to. They want to usurp our current culture, Mike.
Right.
These people are proud. Why, I don't know, but they're proud. So they come to America figuring, well, we're going to make America accept us for who we are, as opposed to them assimilating and accepting America and identifying as Americans and be American-like.
Right.
Okay, which also means understanding that you now need to be adopting the Judeo-Christian way, because this was founded as a Judeo-Christian culture,
Right.
not as a Hindu culture.
Right.
I'm not down with a monkey face or elephant face God. I'm not down with the God with all the little freaking arms and shit.
Right.
That's insane. I ain't never seen nobody walking around here with 100 arms.
Right.
I ain't never seen nobody walking down the street with a monkey face.
Right.
I ain't never seen nobody, and I done seen some people look like a monkey. hey, and I ain't never seen nobody walking down the street looking like with an elephant face.
Right.
Now we're supposed to just accept all this and embrace this. Accepting all of this, embracing all this, Mike, and all this stuff, and these religions and these so-called cultures, eventually they're going to want to change the Constitution.
Right.
They don't want all these churches on every corner.
Right.
They're going to reject the Bill of Rights. They got their own Bill of Rights. They got their own constitutional ideas.
Right.
And they obviously already have their own ideas about worship and who's God.
Right.
And it conflicts with us.
Right.
And who we know God to be.
Right.
And America was given to us by God to be a Judeo-Christian country, to be ran a certain way, and now we're going to turn it over. So guess what? It's the end of it.
Right.
It's going to be gone.
Right.
It's going to cease to exist. And all you people going to start, and let me tell you, man, let me, I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on. But I'm not really moving on, because all of this is connected and relevant. I'm going to say this. I've been talking about this with a lot of my Black friends in particular. They're upset. White America doesn't seem, in particular, white liberal America doesn't really seem to care. Unfortunately, many so-called Republicans and conservatives are okay with this. But here's the deal. All these people coming into our country, and listen, I'm not even talking illegally. I've already talked about the 10 million coming here illegally in the last 3 years.
Right.
We have to stop the legals from coming. And I said this before. Ilhan Omar, the radical Islamist representative in the United States Congress from Minneapolis, Minnesota, she hates America. She hates Christ. She's anti-Christ. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
She hates God, the Father, God, the Son, God, the Holy Spirit. She rejects that. She rejects the Constitution. She rejects the Bill of Rights. She rejects America. Yes, she came here legally. That's why and I can go down a long list of people that fit into that category. They came here legally, but they hate everything about this. And they insert themselves into government. They get elected because they know from the inside coming out, they can change America into what they want it to be, not what it was when they got here.
Right.
If you reject America as it is, why do you come here?
Right.
Because this is why. Now, I'm going to say something that's going to make some people feel some kind of a way. And I don't give a damn. Thank you for all you white Europeans that came to America and built this place. Thank you. Now you're going to have Black people say, well, we played a role, we built you, you ain't done much of shit. Shut up. You didn't build shit, you was picking cotton. Okay? Yeah, you got a couple contributions here. There's some Black contributions. You invented some things. Okay? But 90% of what we have here, 80, okay, 80% of what we have here, listen, man, let's just be honest about it. It's white Europeans. They built this place. Then they said, what about the free labor? I told you, you was picking cotton. You wasn't free labor building these buildings. You wasn't free labor building these bridges. You was picking cotton when they were developing all this. Now, later on, once you got freed, and then from 1865 and beyond, yeah, then you got in on some of the construction projects and this and that. So, yeah, you played that role. But I'm talking about you wasn't on these wagon trains going out here establishing these communities in the West, ducking these Indian arrows. Okay, and I don't care about the fact that the Indians lost their land. I don't even believe it was their land. So don't sit here and talk about these Indians were indigenous either. They came from somewhere too, and they came here. They walked here. Okay. People think, let's use the Lakota Indians, for example. The Lakota Indians were not always where you all believed them to have been. Yeah, were they here in this area? Absolutely. But there was a time when they wasn't here. They migrated here like everybody else. But because they were here before the white European, everybody wants to try and make out as though the white European took their land. How was it their land, and how did the white European take their land from them if they hadn't even been here all along? The Indian. That'd be no different, and that's just the way of the world. Survival of the fittest. If I got more guns than you, I got a better plan than you. And people seem to forget these Indians was fighting amongst themselves before the white European even got here. The white European, I've said this before, he showed up, and when he realized what was going on, and he realized the vastness of America and the opportunity and the resources, and he saw the big picture of what it could be, he joined in the fight. He took a chance. He could have lost, and they could have all got sent back to Europe, but he didn't. So the Indian gets his ass kicked and loses. Now automatically that makes the white European bad? No. Mike, if me and you walking down the street and we see a pickup basketball game and we see one team dominate, okay? They run in the court. And me and you come, oh, we got next. Then we pick up 3 dudes. And we get out there and we put in work and we whoop the team that had been dominating all week. Keeping, you win, you stay on. Now we come in and we win. Now we on. That would be the equivalent to now those dudes that we moved out of the way saying that me and you wrong for coming and whooping them. No. We saw the opportunity. We're like, okay, y'all balling, y'all playing like that? Oh, what's the rules? Okay, well, we want to play too. And we're going to play by the rules too. And if we win, how are we wrong? Well, that's what the white European did. He saw the Indian was here, claiming this, claiming that, fighting, capturing other Indians and scalping Indians and stealing women and enslaving males and making those women a part of their tribe and their families and stuff. Well, the white dude said, well, I got next. Hey, he showed up and said, I got next. And he played the game better than they did. He played the game better than they did. So, I have no qualms. I have no problem with that. I'm glad the white European played the game as well as he did. That's why we can sit here today free. We're surrounded by technology. We're removed from the elements. We got here in vehicles that we own. You got a home. You got an income. You got all this stuff made possible by the white European. And see, a lot of black guys, it's bother. I'm just keeping it real. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
I'm glad some white European enslaved my great. I'm glad. Because I would hate to be in Africa, in Nigeria right now, where they're over slaughtering all them Christians.
Right.
They're going in churches, slaughtering every Christian in the church. Blood and bodies littered all over the ground. Ain't nobody saying nothing.
Right.
The Nigerian news media ain't saying nothing. The Nigerian government and news media ain't crying out to the rest of the world, help us come stop this. They're allowing these radical Islamist Nigerians, black Negroid Nigerians, slaughtering other black Negroid Nigerians that happen to be Christian
Right.
with impunity. And you know why the elite governing class, ruling class, wealthy class in Nigeria ain't gonna say nothing? Because they don't want those people to turn their weapons towards them. They don't want to have to spend their money to go out and pay for protection from them.
Right.
So they let it happen.
Right.
But I'm here to tell you, Nigerians, that are allowing this to happen, they're not going out and stopping. They're coming for you next.
Oh yeah.
Even if you're Muslim,
Yeah.
because we see what the Muslims do.
Right.
They kill one. Here's the Muslims with, if you got a group of radical Islamist Muslims and they got the weapons and they believe blah, 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 blah. If there's another group of Muslims and they believe 99.99% of what they believe, that one little void is enough for them to kill all the rest of them.
Right.
So they're coming for you too. You're not safe over there in Nigeria because you're Muslim. Because if the way you see Islam doesn't line up with how they see Islam, they kill you too.
Right.
They just got to get the Christians first.
Right.
Then they're coming for you.
Right.
And a friend of mine from Nigeria just flew back over to Nigeria, and I wanted to do, don't go. He identifies as a Christian. I said, don't go over there. Your country isn't safe. You might not get back over here.
Right.
And the way things are going, and they're talking about, you see North Korea firing off the missiles.
Yeah.
You see the movies, and one Obama was supposedly had something to do with. He talking about cyber attacks and everything being shut down. I said, you don't want to get stuck over there.
For real.
Because over there, you think it would be bad here. It's bad, gonna be bad over there.
Right.
They already have this lawlessness, people running around hacking people, whole groups of families and groups of people with machetes and mowing them down with AK-47s, and nobody's doing nothing.
Right.
Eventually, these radical Islamists in Nigeria that are going around slaughtering the Christians, mark my words, Mike, they're going to take over the government in Nigeria. There's going to be a civil war. They're going to attack the Nigerian government and all the elite at the top that are holding all the wealth over there. And they're going to take all them out, and they're going to slaughter them. It's going to happen. Watch. So if you're Nigerian, it's coming. It's coming. Man, my coffee ain't as hot as it was.
I don't know why you are.
Well, let me tell you, Mike. This is the year in review, but moving forward. That's what this is called. So let me mention this because I'm going to get back to this. Trump, you cannot have Nikki Haley. First of all, Trump, you're supposed to be a savvy New Yorker. Nikki Haley has shown you time and time again that she can't be trusted and that she'll betray you. So hopefully you don't select her. Trump, you've been around the block a few times. I already told you that Vivek Ramaswamy and his beliefs and his worldview doesn't jive with what we are, a Judeo-Christian Capitalist Constitutional Republic. Furthermore, Vivek Ramaswamy said he wanted Scott Presser, who's a flaming homosexual, to be the head of the RNC, the Republican National Committee. So Vivek Ramaswamy claims to be a conservative Republican. You can't be a conservative Republican and advocate for a homosexual to lead your party.
Right.
Now, Vivek has said so many things that has disqualified him. And he believes things that has disqualified him. As I said, he worships monkeys and elephants and vampires and people with all these arms coming out their back. I cannot respect that.
Nope.
I cannot allow that to mesh with my America. Okay?
Right.
And we got all these Americans that are asleep, Mike. They think it's okay. Oh, he's a nice guy. He seems to be sound as it relates to the Constitution. He seems to have a grasp and an understanding. Listen, if the devil is going to send you something, he's going to send you something that you approve of.
Right.
You believe.
Right.
Am I right, Mike?
That's right.
The devil ain't gonna send some ugly bride to trip you up. He gonna send the prettiest bride he can find.
Right.
The devil ain't gonna give you some run down, beat down Chevy. He gonna give you a Mercedes 500.
Right.
The devil ain't gonna send you this guy that doesn't talk well, that doesn't have a silver tongue,
Right.
that doesn't sound like he knows what he's talking about.
Right.
He's gonna send you a guy that sounds good, and you find him to be a pillar. Oh, I like what he's saying.
Right.
When he came to town and spoke over on the West Side, everybody, oh, you got to go hear him sing. I mean, we got to go hear him speak. That's what all the Republicans were saying. Oh, Vivek's coming. We got he's strong. He's sound. He knows what he's talking about. How? Nobody ever said, well, he worships monkeys and elephants and vampires and 100 armed men.
Right.
He's a Hindu. Nobody ever said, no, I'm not going to hear Vivek Ramaswamy speak because he has 330 million gods. But remember, Mike, this is where it gets real tricky. Mike, all these people that ran out to hear Vivek Ramaswamy speak when he came to the West Side,
Right.
they all profess to be Christians. But they run out over here to hear this Hindu, okay, pontificate about why he should be the president and how and what direction America can go. And he never did nothing. He ain't experienced nothing. He ain't done nothing.
Right.
And he worships 330 million gods. One with a monkey face, one with an elephant face, one with a vampire face, and one with 100 arms coming out his back. Mike, you see how when everybody else is all excited, panting like a dog, I'm just sitting back. People are like, well, Alan, what do you think? Why you don't seem to be excited? No. Why should I be? He's a Luciferian.
Idolater.
He's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Mm-hmm.
You're a Christian, and he's a Hindu. Mike, now all the big money Republicans are putting their money behind Nikki Haley. All the billionaires and 100 millionaires in the party, they hate Trump, so they want to put their money behind Nikki Haley. Likewise, Nikki Haley's a Hindu. So everything I said about Vivek, let me tell you what. Now, Nikki Haley, they're putting their money behind her. They're telling us she's the one. That's what they're telling us, right? Well, number one, they're only saying that because they know they can control her.
Right.
The other thing is this, Mike. I mentioned Ilhan Omar earlier, that she's from Somalia. She came here legally as a refugee.
Right.
She's now in Congress trying to dismantle our country because she hates it. And she wants it to be an Islamic state. Okay?
Right.
But the key variable here is that she came legally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nikki Haley, who her parents were born in India. They're Indian. So she's Indian.
Right.
But she was born here.
Right.
But she's still Indian.
Right.
Hindu.
Right.
Has their culture, their ways.
Right.
Okay. And it's not it's un-American.
Right.
So what I'm saying is this. Just like Vivek Ramaswamy, she's going to want to fundamentally transform America. And she's going to want America to resemble her mom and dad's culture, her Indian heritage as much as possible, her Hindu heritage as much as possible. And when that happens, we're no longer a Judeo-Christian capitalist constitutional republic. Now, Nikki Haley, let me tell you what she did. She came out and said that she wants to get all these Palestinians and bring them to the U.S. That's her solution. Let's start bringing the Palestinians to the U.S. Let's relocate them here. Now, if you start relocating, and she's saying this because she's saying they're caught up in the battle between Hamas and Israel. So let's bring the Palestinian people here. First of all, they support Hamas. We already seen that through the polls.
Right.
We've already seen that through their silence and the fact that they won't speak out against Hamas.
Right.
We've already seen that because they won't raise not one arm to fight against Hamas.
Right.
If you were truly a victim of Hamas, Palestinian people, and you wanted to be free of Hamas, Palestinian people, well, why haven't you revolted against them?
Right.
Why haven't you spoken out against them on social media?
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
But we've seen the recent polls where better than 75% of the Palestinian people that they claim are innocent, caught up in the middle of the fight, they already done said they support Hamas. So you are Hamas.
Right.
So you're in favor of Hamas and what they did and what they will continue to do if they're not stopped.
Right.
And she wants to import those people here. Nikki, dumb, Trump, Haley. Mike, I just told you how Ileana Omar got here legally, right?
Right.
I told you how she's trying to make America into something that she thinks it should be.
Right.
You don't think if we import Palestinians here, they're going to come here with their bad ways, their bad culture, with their religion and all this stuff, and then they're going to get here and they're going to, then once you out of harm's way, you're no longer over there dodging bullets and bombs, you're going to get real arrogant.
Right.
You're going to start talking shit.
Right.
You're going to start staring around talking, well, I think America's racist.
Right.
Well, I think we should change America and make it this.
Right.
Well, I think Sharia law should be part of the Constitution. You're going to have all these damn ideas about what you think because now you're arrogant and you're no longer over dodging bullets. You forgot you was just over dodging bullets and bombs and your stomach was touching your back because you were hungry,
Right.
because you supported Hamas.
Right.
They want to import the enemy. Nikki Haley wants to import the enemy, Mike. If you bring Palestinians here in the same manner that the Clintons brought Somalians here, you're importing the enemy.
Right.
All the Somalians that they imported, they're not Judeo-Christian.
Right.
They're Islamic.
Right.
All these Palestinians, they're not Judeo-Christian. They're Islamic.
Right.
Why you want to import the enemy?
Because they crazy.
Now, Islam makes no bones about the fact that it wants to usurp and take over everything in every situation that it finds itself in.
Right.
Right now, and I've been watching the clerics and the imams all across Europe talk about secret videos been leaking out. I got some of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they having these meetings in their mosque.
Right.
And they're saying, well, we're going to keep bringing our people here to Europe, England, Spain, France, all over Europe. They're just coming in droves.
Right.
Been doing it for years. And the Europeans, out of political correctness, be like, come on, we want to embrace you. We want to be inclusive and we want diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we want to grow the tent and we want to have a melting pot. You may feel all those ways. They don't feel like that.
Nope.
They're coming to, yeah, we want a melting pot too. Yeah, oh yeah, we like diversity, equity, yeah. They're going to go along with that shit to get there, to set foot in Europe. And once they're there, they're going to do what they're currently doing. They're slitting the throats of the Europeans. They're raping the Europeans. They're beating the Europeans. They're killing the Europeans. And they're saying, we're going to take over your fucking whole continent and we're going to make it Sharia law and we're going to make it the not the European Union, but the Islamic Union.
Right.
And these dumb, stupid, woke, white liberals of Europe continue to, come on over. We'll have you. And they coming in like, yeah, look, they coming in like this with the knives behind. Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what they're doing. You know, I'm amazed. I'm going to talk about white folk. You know, I talk about everybody, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
I'm amazed at white folk in America and Europe. I'm going to tell you why. Y'all put all this work in to build these wonderful countries and cultures and stuff, and these institutions in these of higher learning here, and you build these churches, you build all this wonderfulness, and now you want to hand it over. Now they want to hand it over. As if they didn't see what happened years and years ago when you had to fight against Islam and push it back.
Right.
In the Middle Ages.
Right.
Come on, Mike. One of the most common things I heard as a kid growing up in junior high and high school, and at that time I literally was disturbed by it, and I found it was disturbing that all the kids, white and black, would say, I hate history. And I used to always be like, no, history is my favorite subject. It should be yours. Because you don't want to repeat the bad components of history. So study history, but learn from history. Know history. Know your history. History had time, Mike, as time elapses, in the grand scheme of things, Me and you are in a certain place and point in time.
Right.
Prior to me and you existing, time was elapsing.
Right.
And you had peoples prior to us for years and years and years leading up to us. You don't think that things haven't played themselves over and over again?
Yeah.
Exactly. So these people, they'll look in the rearview mirror called time, and they'll see what Hitler did, for example.
Right.
And they'll see it. They'll take a cursory glance and they'll turn and they'll forget about it as if that can't repeat itself.
Right.
It's already manifesting and repeating itself, but in different form. But it's the same thing repeating itself.
Well, you know, ain't nothing new under the sun.
Ain't nothing new under the sun. Mike, let me tell you something. Jews love to say, never again. They're referring to the Holocaust and what happened in Europe, right?
Right.
They say never again, right?
Right.
So let's focus on the fact that Jews are adamant about never again, never again, never. Now, if I know something happened to my people, 6 million got slaughtered.
Right.
There's only 17 million Jews.
Right.
6 million got slaughtered over here by one man, Adolf Hitler.
Right.
I make it out of that, and the message I get from that is never again, and rightfully so. Then I turn around, and the American Jews, which is about 6 million here, they're voting Democrat. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Democrats are showing favor to Islamists.
Mm-hmm.
Democrats have rolled out the red carpet to Islam and Islamists. Islam and Islamists have partnered with Hitler back then against Jews.
Right.
Now, the ancestors of those Jews, the 6 million that were slaughtered, have now partnered with the Democrats, who have partnered with the radical Islamists, the Islamists, who had partnered with Hitler to kill their ancestors. Mike, we're only 80 years removed from that.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, this shows you how pathetic people are. We're only 80 years removed from the Holocaust. That's a short period of time in the grand scheme.
Right.
And these people that are running around now talking about never again are now aligning themselves with the people that had aligned with the people that slaughtered their ancestors.
Right.
The same Jews, the vast majority of the Jews in the U.S., we're talking about the Jews in the U.S. right now,
Right.
but they got the same problem in Israel.
Right.
These Jews in the U.S., you know what else they're doing? They're all voting Democrat and they're pro-abortion, which is the mass slaughtering of innocent and defenseless babies.
Right.
Those Jews were defenseless, not innocent, because they're adults.
Right.
And we all have sinned and so on and so forth.
Right.
And the babies are born into sin, so people can make the argument that they're not innocent. But we're talking, babies are innocent. They haven't committed a crime.
Right.
I just find it amazing that the Jews are now working overtime to usher back in the Holocaust that their ancestors went through. They don't understand that when they identify with the World Economic Forum, when they identify Klaus Schwab, German, they identify with the American Democrat Party, they're identifying with the people that ultimately were responsible for the slaughtering of 6 million Jews.
Right.
These modern day Jews that are voting Democrat don't understand that the Arabs and the Jews and the Nazis were in alignment with one another, working together.
Right.
So then you're going to swing back around 80 years later and vote Democrat, and the Democrat, go look at the Democrat Party presidents. What did Obama gave a very favorable deal to the Iranians. He then gave them $150 billion. Then Biden comes around behind him and he continues the very favorable deal with the Iranians. And he heaps all types of money on the Iranians as well. And in spite of the fact that the Iranians every day are professing to be antichrist, professing to that they're determined to destroy Israel and America, why are all these Democrat politicians and presidents and former presidents, why are they doing everything in their power to make sure that Iran has the ability to create a nuclear weapon and to be empowered to do exactly what they're saying they want to do every day in their mosque? Every day the clerics and the imams in Iran are saying, we're going to destroy America, we're going to destroy Israel, we're going to destroy the Jews. But the Democrat Party in America is funding the Iranian regime. And currently, right now in the United States of America, we have 10,000 Iranians studying here. Why? Why aren't they deported out of here immediately?
Because they learning everything they need to know to destroy us.
Exactly.
That's all.
And the same thing is with all the Chinese that are here. There's 300,000 Chinese here studying.
Right.
On F1 and M1 visas.
Right.
Then you got no telling how many more Chinese here illegally, and then you got the ones that are here on work visas, extracting consequential information to use against us. And we already know that China, India, and Iran and North Korea are all working together against us.
And then you got Russia.
I'm sorry, I left out Russia and Russia. I'm sorry, I left them out. And let me tell you, Russia, they have a considerable amount of people here on F1 and M1 visas studying right now as well.
Exactly.
We're not a very smart country. We're not very savvy when we allow all of our enemies to come here to learn us better,
Right.
give them the opportunity to learn our technology better, to steal our technology and our know-how. And then we think the world is going to somehow remain stable moving forward.
Right.
We're lending power to instability
Right.
by allowing these people to come here.
Right.
In the name of diversity, equity, inclusion, wokeness, we let everybody claim asylum. Nobody should be able to come here and claim asylum. Technically, according to the rule of law, only Canadians and Mexicans can claim asylum here. But there's no reason, nothing's happening in Mexico that warrants a Mexican claiming asylum here. And the reason why I say that is because they butt up against us.
Right.
When you're seeking asylum, you're supposed to go to the first country across your border.
Right.
And we're the first country across the northern Mexican border, and we're the first country across the southern Canadian border.
Right.
But there's no need for Mexicans or Canadians to claim asylum here.
Right.
They're fine where they are in their countries, in particular with the Mexicans in their indigenous country with their indigenous people.
Right.
What do you need to come here for claiming asylum? And once again, I cut them no slack. Don't tell me about the cartel. That's your problem.
Right.
Y'all need to address it before Donald John Trump addresses it, which brings me back to this.
Right.
Donald John Trump, here's another message for you. I've been giving messages out to these politicians today. I voted for you in 2016. I voted for you in 2020. As of today, it is my intention to vote for you in 2024. Okay? So I'm going to warn him. Your legacy will be a legacy of failure. Your 4 years and maybe your 8 years, if you get reelected, will be a failure if you don't do certain things. See, it's not enough to just get elected and then you just get to sell off into the sunset. I got this legacy.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
There's a lot of shit from his first 4 years that he didn't get done,
Right.
that he should have got done.
Right.
I don't want to hear about the swamp. You should have drained them sons of bitches and cleaned those sons of bitches out day one.
Right.
You shouldn't have brought holdovers from previous administrations.
Right.
You should have brought in all new people and all new fresh faces.
Right.
I don't want to hear, well, that was his first time my ass. Trump had seen what was unfolding his whole life, just like I did. And had I been elected president, don't you bring nobody in this Oval Office. Don't you suggest nobody to me that's a holdover from anything.
Right.
Don't you bring me nobody milquetoast. Don't you bring me no Democrats. Don't you bring me no rhinos. Don't you bring me no non-Judeo-Christians. Don't you bring me somebody just because they got a vagina between their legs. Don't you bring me no LGBTQ talking about, well, we want to appear to be inclusive. Don't you bring me shit. I'm looking for Judeo-Christian capitalists, constitutionalists. That's it. Bring me them. Don't you bring me some Hindu. Don't you bring me no Muslim.
Right.
Hey, they'd be mad at me. I don't give a shit about inclusion. I don't give a shit about diversity. I don't give a shit about equity. I don't give a shit about none of that.
Right.
I don't care about no LGBTQ rights. I don't care about no preferential treatment for blacks. Don't you talk to me about no legacy of racism. Don't you talk to me about slavery. I don't hear none of these niggas is free. If they want to sit on their asses and not take advantage of the opportunity that America has given them, extended to them, if they want to be poor, which means passing over opportunity repeatedly, then that's on them. Because everybody else is busting their ass to get to this country.
Right.
And black folks sitting right here running, we shall overcome. Yep, that's the most lamest song ever. I hope I never hear that song again. We shall overcome. The only thing you Negroes got to overcome is yourselves. What's here? And your old raggedy mamas and daddies that didn't teach you nothing, that misled you and had you out here running around identifying as a demon crap. That's all you got to overcome. You got to overcome all these lies that Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton them fed you about being a victim.
Right.
You got to overcome yourselves. We shall overcome. I can't stand this bullshit. Everything's so lame now, Mike. Everything's just so lame. And all these grown-ass black men running around talking about, man, the white man won't let us do nothing. We can't. Well, if you believe that, you should get the hell out of here.
Right.
I ain't gonna hang out nowhere where somebody ain't gonna let me do nothing.
Right.
There's planes flying to Africa every day.
All over the world.
And if you think Africa is the motherland and it's so glorious, go.
All over the world.
Go. And if you're a Mexican and you want to, and y'all over here and you want to fly your Mexican flag and all that bullshit, go.
Go to Spain.
No, go the border right down there, Mike.
Yeah, the border right
The same way you came, you can go right back. I'm tired of seeing people riding around Mexicans in these pickup trucks with the whole Mexican flag as their back window.
Right.
If Mexico was so great, so wonderful, so fucking amazing, why did you leave it? If Guatemala, look at all the Guatemalan flags in people's cars over the little rearview mirror, they hang the little flag. If Guatemala was so damn wonderful and you want to identify with being a Guatemalan so much or El Salvadorian, go back. Because honestly, you came here illegal and we don't want you. I don't. See, these other pundits and pontificators and politics, they won't say it. I don't want no illegals and I don't want no legals. We don't need you. We have 350 million Americans here.
Right.
We can fulfill any obligation that needs to be filled, whether it's in the technology sector or whatever sector it is, or if it's picking fucking fruit.
Right.
I'm going to tell you a lie that they tell. We need them to pick our fruit. We need them to pick our beans. That's a lie, Mike. First of all, the vast majority of all the picking that happens in the United States is done by two things. And people from South America don't fit in this category. It's done by Americans, go look it up, or machinery.
Right.
That's how your food is getting to your table. It's done by Americans or machinery. So all of a sudden you pull up out here in Cincinnati, northern part of the city, Fairfield, how you see Cook Foods, where they ICE raided one time because there was nothing but Mexicans out there, and they got the Mexicans out of there, right?
Right.
I remember, I saw the raid. When Cook Food resumed operation, wasn't a Mexican to be seen.
Right.
Wasn't a Guatemalan El Salvador to be seen, but guess what? They resumed just fine, producing that damn chicken.
Right.
I thought we needed them to do it. But here's what happened. Americans fulfilled those positions, but Cook Foods had to pay the American wage, not the South American wage.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
These people coming in from these other countries, they only hurt us Americans because they want to do everything for less.
Right.
And these corporations are more, oh, you'll do it for that. Oh, let's hire all of them.
Right.
And the way they hire all of them, they just don't walk out there and say, we're firing all of you Americans. They just say, we're cutting the wages.
Right.
And then Americans say, well, I can't survive on that.
Right.
So in effect, they have fired him.
Right.
Because if you cut the wage lower, if you sit down at your conference room, your boardroom table, and you run this American corporation, and all of a sudden you know you have all of this South American labor available to you, and you find out that they'll do it for half, then you cut the wages by half, in effect, firing all the Americans. So they're going to leave organically.
Right. Right. They're gonna start looking for something else.
No. I'm not one of these punk ass, weak ass Americans. I'm not painting corporations as being bad. Because let me tell you, it's about cause and effect, Mike.
Right.
The reason why corporations are looking to do that is because of the burdensome taxes and regulations that have come from the left, the Democrats. Anytime they get in office,
Right.
they want to tax the hell out of corporations. You hear them on television talking about, let's tax the rich, let's tax the wealthy. The wealthy and the rich need to pay their fair share. Listen here, geniuses. I'm gonna school you today so you can stop running around being a stupid cunt. The rich pay their fair share. They pay more than that. We have a progressive tax system in America. That means that our tax system says, oh, you make more, we're taxing you more. We don't have a flat tax system where everybody's taxed at the same flat rate, say 10%. So that means you pay 10% of $1 million, you pay 100,000.
Right.
Listen, if I'm taking 10% from the millionaire, then I should take 10% from the poor guy. If I'm taking 10% from the poor guy, I should take 10% from the millionaire. I shouldn't take no percent or 5% from the poor guy, but then look at the rich guy and say, he's worked his ass off. He's kept his nose clean. He's been very successful. He's made $10 million. Let's punish him and let's tax him 40% of that $10 million that he made. It's really a punishment.
Yeah.
If me and you create something tomorrow and we make $100 million for it, they're coming for no less than 400. They're coming for 400 to 600 million. They didn't have their hand in the pot from the beginning. They didn't do shit.
Right.
They just show up with their hand out.
Right.
And then the reason why they like that progressive tax system that will take 40 to 60% from our genius is because they can then turn around and spend other people's money how they want to spend it. And the way they're really spending it is to get votes. We're going to give you this, we're going to give you that, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you that. And remember where you got it from. The first Tuesday of November, remember where you got it from. And then like a bunch of monkeys, they show up. Well, yeah, they did do this, they did do that for us. That's the reason why you always hear black people around election time saying, well, what y'all going to do for us? Listen, you clown monkey. You're a grown-ass man. You're not supposed to sit around asking, well, what they going to do for us? What you going to do for you? What you going to do for you? Asking what is a political party or the government going to do for us? And it'd be different if the government somehow injured you the way they injured us during COVID.
Right.
Shutting everything down. Now can't nobody work, can't nobody make no money.
Right.
Yeah, the government should come out of their pocket because they should have left everything up and running and let people get that little cold and keep it moving.
Right.
But if you shut us down and make everybody stay at home and I can't go out here and make no money, well, damn it, send a check.
Right.
Unless I get it in that situation, but they never should have shut shit down.
Not at all.
But that was a false flag operation.
Oh yeah.
They knew what they were doing. They wanted to see how we were going to react and how we were going to respond, so they know how far to go next time.
Right.
They need to know what they can get away with.
Right.
That's the type of stunts the kids will pull.
Right.
You know, little kids, they do certain things. They want to see what you're going to do.
Well,
You going to smack that ass or what?
That's to see what martial law gonna be like.
Well, you're right. They won't see how we're going to respond to it. That's the reason why all of us that didn't respond to it the way they wanted us to, they demonized it. They gave us the labels. They said we were this. They said we were that.
Right.
Because we were not conforming. We were like, no, this is bullshit.
Right.
And so they came on the nightly news every night calling us deplorables and all these other names because we didn't want to go out and get this fake ass vaccine.
Right.
Because we didn't want to wear this mask that didn't work. And for months and months and months, we're saying the mask doesn't work. The scientists are saying the mask doesn't work. So finally, after some time, they said, well, get the N95. Okay, now the N95 is legitimate. To some degree, it does work.
Right.
But prior to you telling us to get the N95, you told us to put anything over our face.
Right.
a cloth, anything.
Right.
And it wasn't doing nothing, wasn't stopping shit.
Nope.
And when we told you that it didn't work and that we didn't want to wear it, you somehow painted us out to be bad.
Right.
Where we didn't get no apologies. They didn't say, well, you all were right and we were wrong. None of that.
Ain't gonna get it.
Because it's all about the usurpation of us. This is, Mike, man, I'm telling you, this is what is happening. And what bothers me more than anything is that the average guy in the street is running around here. He's worried about his golf league. He's worried about his golf league. The average woman running around here, she's worried about having wine with the girls on a Friday night,
Right.
gossiping.
Right.
While the usurpers are usurping you.
Right.
Now, I've been talking about everybody. I've talked about the Hispanics. I've talked about the whites. I've talked about a little bit about the blacks. I'm going to talk some more about blacks. Brandon Johnson, mayor of Chicago. You see the white people, the Negroes in Chicago losing their minds because Chicago's rolling out the red carpet to all these illegals.
Right.
They're giving them the black people's resources. They're giving them the housing that the black people were getting, giving them everything.
Right.
Now, and the same thing's happening in New York.
Right.
And now it's starting to happen in all these other Democrat-ran cities, right?
Right.
And these cities that are Democrat-ran said that they were sanctuary cities, and they said we welcome all of y'all. Now they're crying and complaining and saying, well, it's too many of them. We can't deal with you.
Right.
But while they are dealing with these too many that are coming, they're handing out all the resources that had typically been reserved for the blacks in the community.
Right.
And I explained to people early on how I told y'all this was a setup. When they started using that term, people of color, years ago, I was the one that came out and said, listen, no. That's a scam to get black people to embrace all these non-blacks that got a little color in their skin that they were importing to get you to embrace them. But all they're getting you to embrace is the fact that they are now creating increased competition for limited resources.
Taking your place.
Taking that's the great replacement.
Yeah.
That's the new nigga.
But it's no competition.
Listen, Mike. None of these black folk crying bloody murder. I was saying this way back, and I ain't hear nobody else saying it.
Right.
The only problem was my microphone wasn't and still ain't big enough.
Right.
But y'all better hope it don't get big enough, because hell gonna rain down on you. Because if you've been tuning in today and in previous episodes, I don't cut no slack. I ain't politically correct. Listen, as a matter of fact, here, let me put this up on it. Let me put something else up here for a minute. Because if you thinking that I ever been anything other than what you're hearing right now, there it is. I put stuff like that on the screen because it's true. People that don't put that on the screen don't want nobody saying that they're afraid.
Right.
Mike, the mayor of New York, black mayor, Democrat mayor of New York, said he wanted to give all these illegals a free college education. He has never, ever said he wanted to give the Negroes a free education, college education, and not that they deserve it. I'm not saying they deserve it. I'm not saying they should get it. I'm just saying the audacity to where he can take his tongue and say, let's give, his solution is to what he perceives to be a dire situation. Let's give them all a free college education. Well, didn't you perceive, I heard it out of his own mouth, he perceived the black situation in New York to be a dire situation, but he never once offered up a free college education for them.
Right.
These so-called black leaders don't give a damn about black folk.
Not unless there's some money in it for them.
Not unless there's some money in it for them. Now he done got on the bad side of the white liberals who propped him up and put him in there in the first place, because he's now telling the white liberals, hey, I can't take no more of these illegals. And the white liberals are saying, you better figure something out.
Right.
Because it's a part of their agenda.
Right.
To bring in all these illegals.
Right.
And hopefully get them to voting.
Right.
And here's the thing.
So how long they have to be here before they're eligible to vote?
One day. Because a Democrat will let you vote in any election.
Mm.
Hey, Democrats cheat. Why you think they did it before? I explained this before. where they needed to cheat. They said because of COVID, we're going to send out a ballot to every household. Okay?
Right.
So if I fill out a ballot and I'm not legal or I'm not registered to vote, it got counted because they said we're not going to signature verify. We're not going to do nothing. We're just going to count all the ballots.
Right.
They dog whistled that out. And people heard that. So when they got this ballot at their house in these swing states, they said, well, they done told us. They send the ballot to every house. This is what people thinking. I ain't registered to vote. I ain't legal. I'm a vote. Who they voting for? The person who been giving them all the handouts.
Right.
The Democrat.
Right.
And the Democrat was virtual signaling to all the poor people saying, well, we gave you this, we gave you that, when in reality, they didn't give them nothing.
Right.
Because if you giving me something to help my condition, but my condition never changes and or it gets worse, you ain't gave me a damn thing.
Right.
But you're going to keep me coming back because you're giving me something.
Right. In twos and fews.
In twos and fews. And this is how this is the scam. This is the part, this is the grand scheme.
But see,
But everybody wants to come on the internet
we've been getting them twos and fews so long.
for so long.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, here's the shame. And I'm going to talk about me and I'm going to talk about this show for a minute. Here's the shame. There ain't nobody saying this. Okay? This is real consequential information. This is the truth. And the truth, only the truth can set you free. But people don't want to be free because people like living a lie.
Right.
Because with freedom comes responsibility and accountability.
Right.
And if you got this freedom and this access to opportunity and all of a sudden you don't succeed or you fall flat on your face, you can't stand up and then point and blame somebody else.
Right.
That's why people don't want to be free. That's why blacks in America don't want to understand that they free, been free, and but that's why they don't want to step into the shoes of freedom.
Right.
Because once you step into the shoes of freedom, you got to walk in those shoes.
Right.
You got to represent those shoes.
Right.
And the shoes of freedom have one requirement. That requirement is that you take all responsibility and blame for your outcome.
Right.
You don't get to turn around and say, oh, well, the white man is,
Right.
or the white man that. No, it's the black man.
Right.
That individual black man and black woman that makes their own decisions in life.
Right.
But they all worried about running out here voting to legalize marijuana.
Right.
They're all worried about going out here voting on the behalf of LGBTQ and helping these males that identify as females participating in women's sports and crushing women.
Right.
Mike, you remember when old folk, you tell them we was young, you concerned with the wrong things. Remember that was a common phrase.
Right.
They're concerned with the wrong things.
Right.
And then they out here representing Hamas, flying the flag. That's a flag they're flying the devil's flag.
Oh yeah.
They don't even know it. You see, but the devil's clever.
Oh yeah.
We live in a society where the devil has made Hamas popular.
Yeah.
Made Hamas the good guy.
Right.
He's the bad guy.
Exactly.
But what it say in the end? What's going to start to happen? What's good will be bad, and what's bad will be good.
Right.
And that's what you see happening.
It's flip-flopping.
It's flip-flopping right before our eyes, and it's all these millennials and Generation Zers that are running out here pushing it. Right. You millennials and you Generation Zers, you ain't worth shit. You're nothing, and your parents are nothing because they gave birth to you, and they should have steered you away from it. So so now we're dealing with a whole household of shit. Right. Because when I see liberal kids out here running around with pink pussy hats on. You remember they were protesting with the pink pussy hats? Right. When I see these liberal kids running out here saying hands off our vagina because they want to kill a baby. Right. And all this stuff, right. I already know your mom and daddy ain't shit.
Right.
Now listen, back to the old folks in the black community. When you saw some bad kids, what old folks always say, well, they would call you over and they would say, well, look, you stay away from them because they're a bad seed. Right. They say their mom and daddy ain't no good. And their granddad and grandmama ain't none of them no good. Right. And it was always true. I know some. I won't call them out by name. I know some families, ain't none of them any good. Right. They know who they are. Right. They ain't never been good. Right. Their mamas and daddies ain't shit. Their mamas and daddies ain't shit. And their mamas and daddies weren't shit. Right. Wasn't shit. Right. But people don't want to call it out. See, in the black community, we give everybody a pass.
Right.
In particular, we give the worst a pass.
Right.
The dope boy, the murderer, the rapist. We glorify them.
Right.
America, you're crashing and burning. You know, there's too much to go over. That's the reason why I'm working on. See, people don't watch long form stuff anymore, really.
Right.
They don't have the attention span to sit down and watch an hour and 50 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes. So I'm now chopping up all this past material and going to start pushing that and distributing it. I'm even going to put it some places that I really don't want to go in the social media world, but I'm going to have to, because I'm not just pushing a message, I'm pushing a solution. And if you've delved into all of this information I've been putting out, consequently, you'll find that the answers are in it.
Right.
I've given the answers. I've given the solutions.
Right.
It doesn't have to be the way it is.
Right.
Other people don't want to give you the solutions. I'm giving you the solutions.
Right.
They don't want to acknowledge the solutions.
Right.
Because when you acknowledge that these are the solutions, and then you go to adopt those solutions, they pause, because guess what? They don't want to be singled out.
Right.
They don't want to be counseled.
Right.
Everybody's so fearful of being counseled that they're fearful of doing the right thing.
Right.
You can't do the right thing because you're afraid of being counseled. And that's how the left, the Luciferians, the devils, the liberals, the Marxists, the progressives, the Democrats,
Right.
prevent America from doing and being the right thing, because they've demonized the right thing. And when you do the right thing, they counsel you.
Right.
If a preacher comes on YouTube and he says that the word of God says that this sodomy is an abomination, they attack him and say he's wrong.
Right.
They say he doesn't have love in his heart,
Right.
when it's exactly the opposite.
Right.
He's right, and he has love in his heart. And when he preaches that message, he's projecting the love that's in his heart, because he's pleading with these people to walk away from their lifestyle,
Right.
because he's telling them that that lifestyle ultimately leads them to hell.
Right.
That's love.
Right.
So when people come out here and say love is love, and I want to support the LGBTQs and we want to embrace them, you hate them,
Right.
because you're steering them to hell.
Right.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're out here. Thank you for joining us today. We got to get the hell up out of here.